All right, yeah. So just wanted to get a before and after shot of how the shifter is before I installed this Fast Religion shifter upgrade kit for the B17, and I believe it's the Nismo RS jukes or jukes that are stick shift in general. So, but here we'll be installing it into a 2018 Nissan Sentra Nismo Edition B17. So if you guys want to use this as a reference, by all means. I am not ASC certified. I am not a professional mechanic. I just do this as a hobby. So I guess you guys can use this as a visual reference. But by all means, contact Fast Religion for any installation, I guess you could say, purposes. And if anything, you can use this as a reference, but use as your own discretion. So yeah. So just going to go through the gears and show you how much play it has. First gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear, reverse. Reverse doesn't have as much play. I guess it's because of partly partake of the reverse lockout mechanism that's in it that, you know, keeps it from, I guess, moving around and whatnot. So, I mean, yeah, so let's get into it. Is going to be a cigarette, I guess you can say, the accessories adapter plug. It's going to be right behind it, so just unplug that as well. And let's see. Seems like we have enough access. Possibly, maybe if I am able to take this center console out, we can probably get into it, but we'll get into that. Right. So now you're going to come to the rear of, you can say, the center console armrest, and there's going to be 2 screws that you have to remove on each side. So, well, total. So one on the left side, one on the passenger side. So let's get that. All right, now there's going to be an assortment of T20 socket, well, screws that you have to take out, and then this should ultimately just be able to get removed. As far as yeah, talking about the shift knob, I'm assuming maybe I can just probably be able to lift it out and just kind of like fish it through, and then maybe that should be able to get through. But I'm a little bit worried about this side because it is pretty wide. So let's can I even turn it now? We might be able to get this through. We're gonna try some finessing and hopefully we can get it through, because trying to get through that is gonna be annoying. And I believe there is some kick panels over here on this side that you can just pull out from the video I've seen. There is going to be another clip, like a cover and a clip. I broke one on the passenger side when I was changing the cabin filter. So I guess just try to be careful on removing that. I don't know what tool or whatever can be used to get that. But, I mean, yeah, give it a try. But there's going to be one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. Like I said, I already broke the one on the right side, but it is still pretty intact because it is clippable. I guess that's the right term. There is clips that you can put this in, so other than that, you should be good. If this side breaks, hopefully it doesn't, and whatnot. So actually, let's see if I can get that side out now without breaking it. Let me get my trim tools. actually, I'm looking at it. It looks like, okay, it looks like a Phillips, actually. Like a very small Phillips. So let me see if I actually have that. I wish I saw it the first time because I probably wouldn't have to break it, but see, okay, it's spinning. All right, we got motion. All right, so yeah, don't be like me the first time and just just, you know, go to town with a metal trim tool on plastic. Let's see. All right, oh yeah. Okay, so as you can probably see here, there you go. And all right, well, time to go to Nissan and get another one for the passenger side. But yeah, and then now this trim tool, well, kick panel should just be able to pop out. Oh, there we go. All right, this is a lot more difficult than I thought. It's just a matter of just trying to get to some, I guess you could say the T20 Torx bits, and yeah, it's a lot. So, long story short, you're gonna have to remove a bunch, and I was able to get this piece off, but in order to get this piece off, right, you have to basically separate it where you can say this meets where the parking brake is, so this piece, and you're gonna have to take, like, I guess you could say like a flathead screwdriver and just basically pry it, and then it should be able to come off. But now, before you try to pull that off, you got to pull the armrest up, and then that way it'll be able to pop. So pry it just to get enough to get like a flathead screwdriver or a trim tool in, just so it can pull that. Then pull the armrest, and then you will have access to these. I don't know if you can kind of see it with my finger. You can have access to these T20 bits, and at that point you can start pulling everything apart. And now I should be able to take, let's see, this part. I should be able to finesse this and be able to pull this whole center console out and have access to the shifter, and that way I can get to installing the Fast Religion shifter upgrade kit. So I was able to get the center console out, but let me show you another mishap I went into, which the FSM is not, well, factory service manual will tell you about. So there's going to be a bunch of plugs that you have to disconnect, obviously, you know, for the, I guess you could say, USB chargers, as well as there's going to be the auxiliary cord and the other USB charger that's inside. You have to remove that. And once you remove that, it gives you enough leverage to pull it out. And luckily, one thing I like about the design is it is not a complete closed, I guess you could say, compartment. So you're able to just slide it backwards and upwards. So that way you don't have to take out that, I guess you can say, shifter surround. So which is great. Luckily, these shifters that had broke it, well, kind of broke it a little bit. And luckily in their kit, you are actually supposed to remove it and get rid of it. I had also lost my one of my T20 bits, and I hope it doesn't rattle in here because I cannot find where it went. Oh, there it is. I just gotta finesse that out. Yeah, it fell through in here, so I just gotta make sure I get that out so it doesn't rattle. But the kit comes with these bushings, and we're going to be installing it on each side. Once again, the instructions, they have a video which I'm referencing right now, so you guys can definitely check this out, because I can't really put the camera in a way where I can get it. If I had an aerial view, then it would work, but I do actually have, you know, now that I think about it, I do have a window suction cup mount that I could have probably did it. So I apologize in advance, but definitely check out their video because it's definitely a lot better. But once again, if you guys need any help or anything, and if you have a B17, let me know and I will try to help you out with what helped me. So I'm going to get these bushings installed and do the rest of it. So let you guys know. All right, so I got them in. I will recommend that when you get the bushings, once you look at the video that you have to install these bushings, I did have to ream it out, and it took a while, but I think that's why they supplied you with that sandpaper. So I used sandpaper that was taking a little bit too long. I probably spent maybe 30 minutes on one side. So I just took a drill bit, put it in between, and just started like reaming it, little by little, check, little by little. So, take off, measure it, take off, measure it. So I got it, and they supply you with some grease, but I end up putting my own grease because I just felt like I only had enough. And they said be generous, so in the video they put a lot of grease everywhere. So I would say, put grease there where the knob is, and just start putting grease everywhere else. So now, to the next part, and I'll keep you posted. All right, so I ran into, I don't want to say my main issue, but one downfall I don't like about this product is you can see these holes, right? It's a 10 millimeter self-tapping screw. Now, if I get a 10 millimeter socket, it won't even fit in the hole. So with that being said, I had to use a needle nose plier to basically tighten it. And this is a tensioner. Not totally sure what it's tensioning for. I'm assuming maybe to keep everything a little bit tight. Alright, so I went to go check it out. Alright, so I was just like, what, let me just test it out before I, plug everything back together. And, there is reduced slop, but it just doesn't feel natural. It feels almost like it's stuck. So actually, yeah, you move it and it's like it's stuck. So, yeah, and I can't even get into gear. Alright, so reverse, yeah, trying to put in first. I don't know if that's first, I'm assuming that's first. I'm just gonna install it. I don't like this at all. Yeah, just a waste. Wow, wasted like 5 hours. Bringing it back. So when I installed the shifter, the directions necessarily weren't so clear. But I watched a video that they had, and I was able to eventually get it. They did provide you with two bushings. I think it goes, I don't want to say, is that the pivot arm? I guess you could say the shifter, just shifter bushing. So they provided you with 3D printed shifter bushings. I'm not sure what material it was made from, but it is 3D printed. You could obviously tell it's 3D printed. I will say the quality control on that was a little bit, I feel like they were a bit lazy with it because they provide you with sandpaper, and I'm pretty sure the sandpaper is so that way you can wow, no signal, and this person just turned. Wow. Anywho, it's kind of ridiculous. So they provided you with some sandpaper, I guess, to make some adjustments by yourself, and which I didn't really necessarily like because one side took about like 30 minutes and I still couldn't get the bushing on. It just wouldn't fit, and I'm sanding a lot. So anywho, I took a nice size drill bit that was just about the same size as the hole just to ream it out. Was able to get it in, and it fit kind of snug. So I figured, let's just go to snug fit because it's obviously plastic. Once you take off material, you can't go back. It's like you can always take material off, but adding material is the hard part. So I just kept going little by little, test fitting it, and I was able to get it on, and ultimately I just couldn't get into gear. So when I installed everything back, I looked through the video maybe 2 or 3 times to see if maybe I've forgotten a step, and just wouldn't get into gear. And well, I would say wouldn't get into gear consistently. So I was trying to get into gear, and maybe let's say I tested it out 10 times. I was able to get into first and second gear maybe 2 out of those 10 times, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't like, okay, first time, okay, second gear, second time, first, second gear, third time, first, second gear. No, it was couldn't get into gear, couldn't get into gear, got into gear, couldn't get into gear, got into gear, couldn't get into gear, couldn't get into gear. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna test drive it, you know, while the car's running. To me, it's just not worth it. Uninstalled it, mainly off of the fact. And then there was also another reason why I didn't go with it, is because the return to center just wasn't there. So like I will push it into gear and it would just stay in that, you know, okay, so let's say neutral. So if I push it all the way to the left, it would just stay all the way to the left position. There was no type of return to center motion engagement at all. So I'm just like, oh yeah, that was like the deciding factor again. So like, I'm not here to necessarily talk down upon this company, but I do feel like it could have been better. You know, ultimately we just need a shifter assembly that's, I would say, aluminum and metal, you know, that uses possibly like brass bushings, you know, aluminum bushings, Delrin bushings. The plastic stuff has got to go, you know. So I'm pretty sure Nissan or Renault made these, I guess you could say, shifter assemblies using plastic with the thought of we're just trying to save money wherever we can. Honestly, I feel like that's probably one of the most dumbest things, considering this is a manual transmission. This is probably going to be one of the most wear and tear, well, most exposed components of the car that's going to be exposed to wear and tear. So I feel like they crapped out on it. It could be a Nissan design, not totally sure, but ultimately I'm going to go with a different company using the shifter assembly and bushing, because I just don't feel like that it's worth taking the chances with it. Although the price point is great, it was, I think, around $54 ship, you know, for some bushings. And I feel, you know, they had the right mindset of, you know, making it, you know, solid shifter, probably reducing vibrations and whatnot, getting into gears like, you know, nice and smooth. But ultimately, it just wasn't for me. Return to center was non-existent. Getting into gear engagement was just about non-existent as well. And so, yeah, so ultimately, I would say take my review with a grain of salt. You know, it could be a lot different for Nissan Juke owners, because they did in the video show for Nissan Jukes for the installation. It wasn't a B17 Sentra, so I will say if you have a Juke, by all means, go with it. You know, hit up Fast Religion. Maybe they can give you some insights and whatnot. But for B17 Nissan Sentras, Nismos, I think it's for the SR turbos as well. I'm pretty sure there is no difference in terms of the transmission shifting assembly and whatnot. So it's, you know, could be that. But honestly, I will say, you know, maybe think twice if you're gonna go that route. So with that being said, I am back to stock, and you know, I guess next episode of this, I guess, you know, shifter fiasco, I'll be going with a different company with their shifter cable bushings and shifter assembly bushings, as well as I'm probably gonna get that 4H Tech or 4A Tech short shifter. I'm actually just gonna hit up the forums and, you know, ask for reviews on it before I get it, because I could imagine what it's like to install that, and if it doesn't work and I have to install everything back, I'm not trying to go through it. So yeah, so hopefully you guys like this new angle. I have a new window, I guess, well, I guess you could just say window mount. It's a 3-point suction cup axis, whatever. Not totally sure what's the name of it, but I will put it in the description if you guys like this view. And I also do have my mic on my left bicep, so I'm going to be, you know, just testing out different angles and whatnot of, you know, the reviews. I feel like this is possibly a good review point of view, rather than just having like a GoPro or some type of action cam. I do, however, once I get my 240SX up and running, I am going to most likely, you know, have like the half cage and whatnot, and have the view from the roll cage from there. I feel like that's one of the best views. But yeah, just pulling up to the house and whatnot, and